every man who's ever fallen for a woman who just doesn't see him that way. You make her laugh. You're always there. You care more than anyone, but she still chooses him. The one who doesn't care if he loses her. And while she leans on you when she's hurting, you sit quietly, hoping that maybe one day she'll realize you were the one all along. What if I told you the very thing you think is helping, your kindness, your loyalty, your emotional support, is exactly what's keeping her from ever being attracted to you? Today, everything changes. This isn't about manipulation. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about understanding how attraction works and flipping the switch. She'll never see you the same way, and you'll never see yourself the same way again. Welcome to a video that might just be the most important one you've watched in a long time. This is a mindset that can change your confidence, self-worth, and how women perceive you forever. If you've ever felt stuck in the friend zone, this is for you. And if you're here, I want to ask one thing. Support this channel. When you do, you help spread this message to men across the world, lost in confusion, heartbreak, and self-doubt. Men who need a voice of clarity, a strategy, a way forward. By subscribing, liking, and commenting, you're not just helping yourself, you're helping thousands of others like you. Now let's unlock the friend zone, piece by piece. Why the friend zone exists. Men don't realize it at the moment they step into the friend zone. It's not because she decided they weren't good enough. It's because of how they chose to show up. You weren't forcibly placed there. You weren't cursed with bad luck. You weren't even rejected in the way you think. You walked into that space with every well-meaning action that you thought would bring you closer to her heart. And you did it with good intentions. You gave emotionally. You were available, always. You listened to every rant, every complaint, every heartbreak she experienced with other men. You became her therapist, fan, cheerleader, her support system. And deep down, you believed that being there for her more than anyone else, being the guy who never gave up, who never made her cry, who always responded, would eventually make her see your value. That one day she'd look over and realize you were the one who was there all along. But that day never comes. Not like that. Not in the way you think, because women don't fall in love with comfort. They don't feel chemistry with predictability. They don't crave what's always within reach emotionally. We all want to feel something that shakes us, that makes us wonder, that keeps us thinking. And what you gave her, although kind, although thoughtful, lacked the one ingredient that turns emotional connection into attraction. Tension. Emotional tension. Mystery. Polarity. You built a bridge of emotional support, not a spark of emotional desire. Attraction doesn't bloom in a place where everything is easy. It grows where there's polarity. There's a difference. A chase. When you become the man who's always a phone call away, who replies instantly, who listens for hours while she cries about another man, you condition her mind to believe you're the one who catches her when she falls, but never the one who makes her heart race. Not because you're unworthy. Not because you lack something physical or intellectual, but because you've made yourself too emotionally accessible, too emotionally dependable. And that emotional safety tells her subconscious that she doesn't have to earn you, doesn't have to impress you, doesn't have to worry about losing you. And what we never fear losing, we rarely desire. You've trained her to see you as the one who will always be there, not as the man she could lose if she doesn't step up. There's no edge. No challenge, no fire. You've accidentally created emotional comfort at the expense of emotional attraction. She's not cold. She's responding to the emotional environment you've created, one where her needs are met without her ever having to give anything back. And because there's no risk of loss, no fear of rejection, no feeling that she needs to earn your time or attention, her brain doesn't activate the same way it does with the guy who's less available, more mysterious, and less invested. That's why she keeps chasing the man who treats her like an afterthought. That's why she keeps crying to you about him, because he doesn't give her security. And that uncertainty creates emotional volatility. And volatility in small doses creates emotional hooks. Meanwhile, you provide emotional stability. You offer your heart on a silver platter. But what's freely given, without any standards, without any boundaries, without any cost, rarely holds value in the human mind. So, no, you weren't placed in the friend zone because you weren't tall enough, or funny enough, or rich enough. You weren't friend zoned because you were too nice. You were friend zoned because you didn't give her a reason to feel something for you other than safety. And without emotional tension, there is no attraction. Not now. Not ever. Until you change the way you show up. How to reset her image of you. The moment you realize that her perception of you is based on how you've consistently shown up, that's when the real transformation begins. To change her perception, you don't need to beg for her to see you differently. You don't need to prove your worth. You don't need to make her realize anything. You simply need to show up differently. Not louder, but more powerfully. You start by stepping back. Not with anger, bitterness, and definitely not with passive-aggressive silence. You step back with calm clarity. With purpose. If she sends you a text at 11:45 p.m. about how upset she is, if she needs someone to vent to because yet another guy ghosted her or treated her badly, you don't rush to the rescue. You don't pull on your emotional armor and prepare to be her savior again. You don't sit for an hour on the phone listening to her soul while secretly hoping that this time she'll say she's done with him and ready to see what's been in front of her all along. That moment won't come like that. Not when you're still the soft place she collapses into without any fear of losing you. You have to become the man whose time and energy are respected. And respect doesn't come from being endlessly available. It comes from having boundaries. Real, unwavering boundaries. When she reaches out for another emotional unloading, keep your response brief, neutral, kind, but distant. You're not being cold. You're being selective. Say something like, "You really gotta stop letting guys treat you like that. Anyway, I can't talk long. I'm about to head out." That one sentence carries more weight than 100 compliments. Because in it, you're telling her you're no longer a therapist on call. You're not a bottomless well of sympathy. You have your own plan, your own focus, your own life. You are not where she comes to process pain anymore because your value goes beyond being a safe space for drama. That change, that emotional detachment, is subtle, but seismic. She might not say anything the first time. She might even act like she didn't notice. But she feels it. Trust me, she feels it. Because what used to be guaranteed, your comfort, your attention, your time, is suddenly limited, scarce. And anything that becomes scarce becomes valuable. The key is to do this without making it about her. This isn't a tactic to get her to chase you. This is you choosing not to give your energy away for free anymore. This is about reclaiming your emotional power. With silence. You don't have to announce that you're changing. You don't need to explain yourself. You simply become a man whose emotional energy must be earned, not assumed. When she calls again, when she texts and you don't reply instantly like you always used to, when she asks to hang out and you say, "Can't, got plans," yourself. Balkal, नीचे सिर्फ फॉन्ट पेश किया जा रहा है, मुकम्मल वाज़ह और एक मुकम्मल वीडियो स्क्रिप्ट के अंदाज में. Hasa Aval, the awakening, from friend zone to power. Flipping with presence, with silence. You don't have to announce that you're changing. You don't need to explain yourself. You simply become a man whose emotional energy must be earned, not assumed. When she calls again, when she texts and you don't reply instantly like you always used to, when she asks to hang out and you say, "Can't, got plans," she will begin to wonder. And wondering, that's the first sign that her image of you is changing. That safe, always there guy is fading. And someone stronger, more self-respecting, more intriguing is emerging. Because when you walk away quietly and confidently, with no bitterness, only certainty, you stop being the backup plan. You become the standard, and the one who can walk away without trying to make someone follow. That's the one who holds the power. How to build new attractive habits. Once you've created space, once you've pulled your energy back from the woman who only saw you as a friend, your work doesn't stop in silence. It's not about using distance as a strategy to make her chase. That mindset still revolves around her, and that's the problem. Because this transformation isn't about her. It's about you. It's about who you become in that space. The silence you create should not be empty. It should be filled with growth. with strength, with momentum. You're not disappearing, you're evolving. Now is when you start rebuilding, not from a place of pain or revenge, but from power. Start with your body. When you train your body, you build discipline. You build confidence. You start walking differently, speaking differently. You don't go to the gym to impress her. You build a life that impresses you. Your environment matters. Your energy used to orbit around one woman. Now spread it. Not to provoke jealousy, but to escape scarcity. Talk to other women, engage, connect. Not for validation, but for liberation. She is not your only option. You have choices. You have value. Say yes to new experiences. Surround yourself with new people. Live fully. Because when your life is full of movement, your energy transforms. You stop reacting. You start leading. You stop chasing. You start attracting. And women, they feel this shift. She will notice. Even if she doesn't say it, she'll feel that something has changed. And you won't even need to say a word. The return, reclaiming presence and power. How to re-engage with power. After you've stepped back, after you've rebuilt, she begins to notice the silence, the space, the distance, the missing good morning texts, the unanswered calls, the emotional detachment. She starts to feel the absence more than she ever valued the presence. And the more she wonders, the more curious she becomes. This is your advantage, but only if you re-engage with strength, not desperation. You're not coming back to be chosen. You're not looking for signs. That version of you is gone. You're re-engaging with detachment, with clarity, with calm. If she compliments you, don't light up like a boy starved for attention. Smile and say, "Took you long enough." You're not giving out your attention like candy. You're setting a new standard. Playfulness with power. If she teases or flirts, don't melt. Push back. You're trouble, but I like a little trouble. This isn't about fear. It's about fun. It's about presence. You're no longer the guy who fakes laughter or agrees with everything. You've become the man who has his own views, his own edge, his own frame, and she feels it in every word and every pause. No more over-validation. Don't say, "You're perfect," or "Any guy would be lucky to have you." She's heard that 100 times, from guys she never chose. You're different. You offer rare, meaningful compliments, because now she has to earn them. You're no longer trying to impress her. She needs to impress you. You've rewritten the game. You're no longer waiting. You've built your own pedestal, and now she realizes she's not standing on it alone. She has a decision. Step up or lose you. This time, for real. The shift, it won't come with fireworks. It will come silently, like a tide rising in her mind. She won't even realize it at first, but she'll feel it. You're no longer texting. You're no longer chasing. You're no longer predictable. That unpredictability, it pulls her in. She texts, you take longer to respond. She posts a story, you don't react. And suddenly, she's curious. She's unsure. She's drawn. She texts more. She talks about you. She mentions you to friends. She sees how you walk, how you laugh, how other women look at you. She starts to feel what you used to feel. And this time, she's the one chasing your final power. And here's the key. Don't overplay it. Stay grounded. Stay focused. Keep building. Keep rising. This new man, this presence, it's magnetic. And now she sees what she never did before. You are not the man she once overlooked. You're the man she can't stop thinking about. If you made it this far, type empowered in the comments. Let me know you finish what you start. Like, comment, subscribe, because every click spreads this message to another man who needs it. Let's build a world where men don't beg to be chosen. They become the ones worth chasing. This is your moment. It starts now.